So yesterday already Pauline did most of the work, so it's for me rather easy to go further. I think you have the concepts of open access and about repository I don't have to explain. So today we will be a little bit more technical, going to look at repository software, at some standards after that, and in the afternoon having also a look at a project which uses repositories, which brings it in on a new level, on a level of communication. In fact, publication is a basic for communication, so it's normal that communication is important. And nowadays, with all the systems we have with Facebook and LinkedIn and such things like that, why not looking at solutions on the level of research communication? But this morning we start with repository software. Now, also tomorrow we will have a look at a practical implementation of repository software, the AgriOcean DSpace. We will have a look. But today we will give an overview of what is available. I understand it's a large group, all distributed. I hope it's easy for you to follow. Surely, if you are behind there, but okay. So, if necessary, you can come closer anyway, if it is necessary. You hear me well at the back, also. So okay. Now, repository software. Before starting with the repository software, I want first to tell something about the repository harvester model. I don't know if you already have you mentioned that, but okay. Now, I think it is very important because a repository, what is the goal of it, it's in fact simple, is to collect publications and make them available for local use, but also for international use, and there the harvester is important. So, in a way, the two most important thing of a repository is that on the site that it can be submitted, and that it is submitted in a good way with rich metadata. That's something I think is very important, which is sometimes overlooked by the repository community. Because if you want to create on another level rich services, you need rich metadata. Now, the other level is the harvester level. It is in fact not important that your record is available on your local repository. It's much more important that it is available in search engines where people can find it. As they will not find it locally. So a repository, in a way, the interface of a repository is not important. The interface to submit is important, and the interface to exchange with search engines is important. Now, it's not completely true, but in a way, that's the basics, in my opinion. There is also a discussion. People say we have to keep it simple. Repository software, because the authors themselves submit, but and they are not librarians and not happy with very complicated metadata. But at the same time, if you want to create something extra, you need better metadata. That's one of the things that's one of my opinions nowadays. I changed my opinions from the start. That's true from 5, 6 years ago. Now you have the repository and you have the harvester. That's one aspect, and then we will have a look at how it is implemented, which software are available, and also, and that's your exercise, that you will have the possibility to evaluate ePrints and DSpace by looking at some implementations. We will go and use OpenDoor for that to find them, but also ePrints and DSpace have demo sites where you can submit, do a few actions, and you can. And it's up to you to do that, to have a first feeling of the software. That's for the first 2 hours that we're going to do through this. So, as I said, for me, repositories, submission is very important, the tasks. But as you already know, it can a lot of type of documents, of data sets and such things like that can be submitted. Now, in practice, you also see that some local tasks are taken up. Universities, they see the advantage of a repository in their global tasks. And for example, at our university and at many universities, the repository is also used as a sort of academic bibliography and also as an evaluation tool. Everybody has to submit all their documents, and then you can see what they publish and in which type of journals they publish and such things like that, and funding can be distributed. But that's in fact not a task of the repository in itself. But in the end you see it happen. And the harvesters, they give the global services, and you already talked about it probably, about Oyster, and so I don't have to go deeper in that. So I made a little description of it. I think this is how harvesters and repositories are interacting. Users are not going straight to the Camefree repository or another repository, but are going to a harvester. A harvester which uses the OAI protocol, copies the metadata and bring this all together. And the user is querying this harvester. It can be OceanDocs. In the past it was Avano, for example, and get information, the metadata and the final links. And when the final links are found, then people can go to the original records which are in the repositories. And there they can find the document themselves. Now, I don't know if this ID, this distributed ID will work for always. These were IDs of 15 years ago. In the meantime, the possibility to combine metadata, there are other options also. But at the moment, this is one of the possibilities to use the OAI protocol. The OAI, first of all, harvesters have some problems. first of all, the OAI protocol asks that a metadata standard is used. And the metadata standard used is, the basic one is Dublin Core. And we will see later, Dublin Core is very limited, 15 fields to describe a record, while if you go to Marc XML, and so then you have much more granularity in your metadata. Also, you see that a Google and a Google Scholar is crawling the whole web and giving services where classical harvesters can't compete with. People are going to Google Scholar, are not going that much to Avano. Still, there are people who are unhappy that Avano disappeared. It's a pity, but I think in the classical way, as a harvester, where as a search engine, you can't compete with Google or Google Scholar. You have to get extra services if you want to make it attractive to a public. So I think, therefore, the metadata standards has to be higher than simply filling out those 15 fields of Dublin Core. I have been involved in a project for which I will show this afternoon, which is also thinking about community building, and that can maybe give ideas about our ocean knowledge ideas, which will come. Now, harvesters are using the OAI protocol. They are going. Oyster is automatically going every day or every week to more than 1,000 repositories. I think now about 2,000 repositories worldwide. And how they do it? Simply by using the verbs defined defined in the OAI protocol. The OAI protocol is in fact are these verbs. They use HTTP, and for example, you can be identified. I will use it. I will see if it works. Oops, it's giving. I prefer another interface. Here you don't see well. It doesn't structure well. This is the way the information is presented. This is a verb we use, and Ocean Docs is a repository which is using these verbs of the OAI protocol. It gives a result in XML. XML is a schema to describe information in a way, and XML is very common in that way, and you see it describes it is in different levels. You have it uses tags. And with these tags you can easily structure your information. This is to identify Ocean Docs and who is the administrator and such things like that. Okay, I have to find. Okay, you see, this is. The identification of Ocean Docs, and I can have a look at the metadata formats. Oops, escape. I go back to preview. So, because I have a bad link with, I have to do it this way. Come on. that's the advantage to work with my own computer, then I don't have these problems. Huh? Here, with this verb, you identify yourself. With this verb, you see the metadata formats. And we are going to the repository of NEO, the Indian Oceanographic Institute. And they use DSpace and a normal DSpace, and you see they only support OAI Dublin Core. If I go back for everything there is a solution, even if it is a little bit cumbersome. I do the same for Ocean Docs, and you see here we have a lot of metadata formats defined. You have the VOR, the OAI Dublin Core, also an RDF, an OR metadata. I will tell later what it is. MODS, for example, you know MODS. It's an XML metadata format for bibliographic description in the first place, defined by the Library of Congress. It was in fact, Marc was developed from the 60s, and to have a better structured system who uses XML in the first place, they created MODS, which is also in fact related to Marc, but it's much better structured in a way. But you see, in a way, the OAI protocol is a container, and it can give information about what is inside the container, and inside the container are different types of metadata. And now you can get the metadata in the format you want, and therefore we have to go back to well, these list sets and so on are less relevant. But a get record is, for example, interesting. Control Command C. Here we saw all the metadata formats. So what we can ask now, give us the content of one record. Oops, what's happening? I don't know. Control V. Of one, okay, this is the previous one. I have to go back. Oh yes, list metadata formats. And oh, now I'm completely at a loss, but it's okay. I know. And okay. Come on, see. Okay. That was. Here you see the metadata formats we have, and now I can ask for one record. Give me. No, wait. I see here a little problem. DCDS. With we have seen here, for example, the metadata prefix. Now we are going to ask for get a record with a metadata prefix and with an identifier. Now I only show you this because the metadata formats are giving the way it is presented. And you see with this list that it can be presented in 6 or 7 ways. And we are going only to look at the VOR prefix. And you see then that you have a metadata format which is rather rich, where you can, which is rather complicated also, where you have as values for example, for terms and subjects, we don't have keywords by itself, but we have identifiers of keywords. And I will tell you later what the advantage of that is, but with and why we use them. Also, you can include, and that's the way they solve it. Here, some information. And yes, you see, they include the description of the whole article, the whole reference, as a BibTeX, so that every part can be used separately again. You see the title here, but also the journal is separately defined. So there is a granularity in your metadata this way. If we look, and I have to go back to the, and this I'm going to close, close tabs. If I go back to the Neo, where they only have Dublin core, Control, Command C, oh yes. You will see it's much simpler. You will see here that you see it simply at the way it is structured. You have here the creator, the date, the 15 fields of Dublin core are used here, and the description. But one of the problems is that, for example, here, for describing the reference to the journal, they have only one field. Everything is brought together. So also there are other type of identifiers, and in Dublin core you don't make the difference. And other identifiers can be a URL, for example. So that's the problem sometimes of using only Dublin core. The advantage is that it is rather simple, easy, but there is no granularity. You don't have the possibility to split up your information based on volume issue. Also, people are submitting it, if it is not well done, they submit it as one sentence, and here you see, for example, there is no blank between the volume and the issue, and another person fill it out, and there is a blank in between. Or they use vol and they use issue, for example. So there is no consistency when you only use Dublin core. Now, this is the way that the information which is in a repository is made available for harvesting, for the search engines. This is the information that harvesters are collecting and putting in their system. And it is structured by these tag systems, and it's XML based. And there are, this is the one which is basic for all OAI, but in the end you can also create other ones which can be much richer. And you can show the same content in different ways if you create that. For example, this is the schema, the VOA schema for the document, for this document with about salinity variation. If I use the mods, oops, then you get a complete, you get the same information, but completely structured in a complete other way. In my opinion, mods is much more clearer than what they did with the VOA application. You can see here at the same time where VOA only used the URIs, we also give the the keyword itself. And here, instead of using BibTeX, we structured the information about the journal, with the title, the volume. You see, it's nicely structured in that way. Okay, that's a little bit background information. The close tabs. And now I'm going back. I hope. Okay. It is important that it's, in fact, before we can have a look at the software, we have to know, and you will have to use a little bit these verbs to test out if they really work. There is also a repository explorer, and you can use that one to and instead of having to type in all the verbs, you can look at yourself for it. We will, and instead of you can, for example, list metadata formats. It will give the results, the Dublin core, and a special one of the a special one who they made themselves. Okay. Now, repository software. Oops. The two most important softwares are at the moment the ePrints and the DSpace. And we can have a look at ePrints is created by the University of Southampton. So Pauline has more than emotional connections with it. And in a way, it's a very nice software. And it is also very... I think it is at the moment, maybe even if you only want to create a repository and have good metadata, sometimes it's as a standard software, I think it is even better than DSpace at the moment. But I have a long history in DSpace, and I'm not going to change that at the moment. But what you see also here, it's and you see that with most of the ePrints, it's a very simple, clear presentation where you can find, where you can search the repositories. It is well done at the moment. Where did I lose it? Always. We use at the university at our university DSpace, and now one of the advantages for us was that it was in fact and that was one of the reasons we from the beginning we went for DSpace was the possibility to adapt it in a way. It has a few reasons. One of the reasons is that ePrints is based on Perl, while DSpace is based on Java, and there are much more Java developers than Perl developers, and we had a lot of problems to work with ePrints at the time. But also, you see, you can do a lot with DSpace. You can also show the one of the aspects, the important aspects of DSpace is that, oops, oh, I was thinking that it is slow, or there is a problem. There is a problem. Have titles, browse communities, collections. Ah, okay, I don't know what would happen. they create a whole structure of what is called communities and collections. Huh? It's the basic approach of DSpace, that you are not putting your document in a repository, but in a collection of the repository. And the advantage is that you can nicely show all this, but in Safari it gives some strange things.
Sorry, Mark, but you can do that in ePrints also.
You
make your own structure of the institution. You can make your own even subject field structure, and you can.
But it's in another way. Huh? Here it's in fact it's the basic structure. While you can build it out in ePrints too, but it's something. It's not. It's in ePrints. You start with ePrints in as a global package where you can. But here you first have to create your communities, your collections before you even can submit. Without a community, without a collection, you don't have a frame to submit, and that's different with ePrints. There was a request, and I believe even it is in the end better solved by ePrints because it's in the structure of the database, while here you have a separate structure, and the data, the table with the information is separate from the structure. And one of the disadvantages that you have is that many of the publications are in cooperation over the collections, and so you have to make a sort of a copy, a link to the other collection, and you don't have that problem in ePrints, I guess. I know. We have solved that with tricks, but these are if you are in a much integrated environment, it has some problems too. So yes, because if I'm going back to the ePrints, to Certon, I will show. Nowadays you can present it also with all the faculties and such things like that. Okay, where was I? Closing. Okay. Besides that, there are commercial packages. Commercial, sometimes based on the open source packages, like Open Repositories uses DSpace. Digital Commons. There are people who are saying if you want to really develop your repository, you will pay it in working hours, and you don't have the support that you have from commercial software. That's their selling argument, and in some cases it can be true. Also, I guess, for example, COA has also implemented OAI up to a certain level. I guess so. So you see that library management systems are integrated open access OAI functionalities. So in a way, sometimes you could start from a library management system to create a repository too. And for integrating your work, it could be relevant sometimes. You see that ABCD is announcing it. I haven't really seen it working, but they are committed to be OAI compliant. And Greenstone is also OAI compliant, I think, but Greenstone has, in my opinion, some other. It's not really a repository software. It's not really library software. So it's something in between. Some people are happy with it. That's important. Now we are going to have a look at Open Door immediately, because there you will find information, and that's what the slide I got on the 5th of April. There that you see at the moment the most popular is DSpace, and I think it has to do with this possibility to adapt it, the problem of Perl development. The advantage, in a way, for ePrints, and I will, it looks like I make some publicity of ePrints now today, is that it is, in fact, more centrally controlled. While DSpace, you see a lot of initiatives going every way, and there is less central following up. The advantage is that there is a lot of solutions available, that a lot of people are working on development, but you don't see all these good developments in the core of DSpace. Yes, now we are going. You have you got my my file, so you can go to the demo sites of ePrints and DSpace, and I think it's good for you to go through both through both submissions and to see and to compare, and I want you to go through this process of submitting and to evaluate it, and also to evaluate the quality of metadata. First, I'm going to have a look here at the demo of ePrints. Here, you simply have to create an account yourself, and then you get an email, and then you can submit. Then you can log in, and then you. I'll let it. It's up to you to go through that. We will discuss it after you have done that. Secondly, where are we again? Where is? Okay, PowerPoint. Okay, the demo from DSpace. Here you can choose, and there are. You see, that's, for example, typical for DSpace. You have the old GSP interface, and you have a newer one, an XML-based user interface. This is the most advanced. And a lot of people are not really keen about it. It has, because to develop in it, it's not that easy. So for development, people stay there. Now you see here you can enter as a submitter simply by using this password. And to use the password is simply DSpace. It's all users have password equal to the lowercase name of the software, so in lowercase. So if you log in here, you can immediately log in with the password which was on the and then you go to DSpace, sign in. Okay, it doesn't work at the moment. Okay, and then you're signed in, and then you can submissions. Where are submissions? Discover submissions, communities, submit, unfinished submissions. a lot of people have tried it. Huh? Submission being reviewed. Oops, what happens? I don't have the, no, unfinished submission. Start another submission. Okay, here it is. Huh? We will go back. Where is it? So up to you now to submit first in ePrints and then in DSpace. For submitting in ePrints in the demo site, you need to register.